In this video, I'm doing a head-to-head comparison between ChatGPT Agent and Manus. Exactly the same prompt, exactly the same desired output, and we'll determine in this video who the winner is in the battle of agentic systems in the browser. This is day 5 of 100 Days of AI. I'm Craig Hewitt. Let's dive in. Okay, so if you were following along with yesterday's video, you know that we did a real deep dive on Manus, and I was falling in love. We did all of these prompts you see over here in the sidebar, and I think it performed really well. And so the question after that was like, hey, how does Manus as a kind of natively agentic tool? It's an AI agent. It's not just ChatGPT. It's not just a large language model. It has tools available to it. How does it compare with OpenAI? That's kind of the question and their agent model. So I'm going to scroll all the way to the top here. And this is the prompt that I used in both of the agents. I want you to create a YouTube competitor and content strategy research plan. To do this, research these channels. And these channels are kind of a smattering of different things that I would like this channel to end up being like. So we have a little bit of kind of sales and startup coach. We have a little bit of, in Greg Eisenberg and boring marketer and skill leap, a little bit of like pure AI and tech news and hype. Nate Herc, who is the inspiration for this channel and this 100 Days of AI. Nate does a lot of really great stuff around N8N and AI automation. And then Simon Holberg here is kind of a big, SaaS guy. And I say, hey, I want to stand at the intersection of AI education and founder coaching, because that's really where I kind of see the future going. And I want you to review engagement, publishing cadence, thumbnail strategy, and comments, validate content ideas with Google Trends, and then build a 90-day content strategy with things like video title, video concept and why people would watch it, a thumbnail idea, and the related playlist that video would live under. And then I said, additionally, create a channel positioning doc. And what was interesting about ChatGPT's agent is it just didn't work. The first, you'll see here, I had to try 3 times. I think I even reloaded into a different chat one time, and it just didn't work. But in the end, it did, and it worked for 11 minutes. And you can see some of the kind of replay of things here. I guess, so we'll start all the way from the beginning, and you can see kind of everything that it did. So, it starts by going to YouTube, researches the first person on that list. We'll just fast forward a little bit. So it would have researched all of the competitors that I mentioned. And you see it's going around in like a virtual browser. It's doing its thing. It's pulling up web pages. It's analyzing the things on those pages. I accidentally clicked home. Now I'm going to correct that. So we'll see if it reloads the page here. But, I got to say, like, if I'm honest, the ChatGPT experience, the ChatGPT agent experience just isn't amazing. Like, it just didn't work the first couple times. And then it ran for 11 minutes, which, like, the duration of this is not the most important. The most important thing is that it gets it right. But it's not even like playing this back right. So I wonder if I like refresh this page, will this? No, like this just doesn't. It just goes away entirely. So let's see. If I pull this back up, will this work? Find this. So this was kind of the very end. This is the file that it gave us at the end. Okay, so let's see if we can go find this. Right, so you can see it's going through all of the channels that I asked it to analyze for inspiration. Ravi Abdallah, Boring Marketer, Simon Hoiberg, Skill Leap AI, and Nate Herc. Right, it goes through all these, analyzes all the videos, comments, views, things like that. And then it tries to go and verify and all of these with Google Trends. And what was interesting is it couldn't access Google Trends at all, and it stayed on this website for like a long time, which I think is interesting. You'll see in the recommendation section later that it kind of gets stuck on this page and a couple of data sources, which is a little troubling because you might notice this if you turn on like deep research, and web in ChatGPT, it will often cite the same source several times in a single prompt. And I think it's doing that here. It's like, hey, this is unavailable. And so it's like, well, screw it. I can't find the resource that I want. So I'm just going to cite this one thing that I could get. So it stayed on this page for a long time. And it's like, I can't do that. I'm just going to look up blog posts on personal branding and AI and those trends, which, then it's like secondhand information. And it finishes by creating this plan. And so the replay here is nice. Being able to see this right kind of in the chat is fine. Like, it's nice to show this, and we'll see the one from Manus. It does something similar. And so here's the 90-day analysis. So your goal is to build a YouTube channel position at the intersection of AI education and founder coaching. You want to understand the competitive landscape, learn what works from top creators, validate the topics you plan to cover in the next 90 days. Yep, that's right. So then it gives me a synopsis of the competitors that I wanted to take a look at, how often they're publishing, what they're talking about, which I think is really important, and that's kind of it. Thumbnail strategy. Thumbnails are consistently yellow backgrounds, pastel colors. That's cool. Follower count or subscriber count, all this kind of stuff, right? For some reason, it just didn't get some of Nate's information, which I don't know. And then it kind of summarizes this. It says AI agents and automation are hot topics. Duh. Personal branding with AI resonates. Patrick Dang's AI-driven personal branding videos are seeing strong engagement. Yeah, Patrick's doing really well these days, and he's pivoted a bit from kind of conventional sales coaching and advice to personal branding. So that might just be worth thinking about. Short form and visually compelling videos are trending, obviously. I don't know how it looked at shorts, because I don't believe any of the channels that I asked it to look to are really big shorts channels. And then channel positioning document. Mission is to empower founders and aspiring entrepreneurs to harness cutting edge tools. Yep. Early stage founders, solopreneurs, and professionals curious about launching products, maybe. And then content pillars. So AI tools and agents for founders. Yep, that makes sense. Personal branding and marketing. Yeah, yes, and interesting. Like that's not really the same as like AI for founders. Founder playbooks and mindset. Yes, I have a lot on my channel, on this channel already, about sales. And then customer like case studies, interviews. That makes sense. It gives a bit more information here. And then the thing I really like is I asked it for a 9-day content plan, and it gave it to me. Gave it to me really specifically, like maybe too specifically. So the first one is build my first AI agent with code. Well, that's what the 100 Days of AI challenge is all about, right? So we're doing that. Show step-by-step of this, thumbnail, visual of the flow chart with you pointing at it, which is basically what my thumbnails have been so far. And then the playlist that it goes in. And it goes through and it does this for all 90 days of the video. So I think in 90 days, it was going to give me 24 videos. So I thought that was pretty cool. Why people want to watch. Each concept promises immediate value. Yep, that's cool. Real examples and live builds. That's what I get from Nate, right? Nate's channel is really, him showing how he does the thing, and then he gives the template away and it in. That makes a lot of sense. Use consistent color palettes, publishing cadence, release 2 videos a week to stay consistent, Tuesdays and Fridays, to train the viewers and the algorithm. Cool. So we're publishing every day for 100 days, and then we'll probably go to twice a week. Include calls to action in description for free templates or checklists. Yep, so we're doing that. And then in the end here, and the competitive landscape shows that creators who combine deep AI knowledge and practical business frameworks and consistent publishing schedules achieve strong engagement. Cool. So this is pretty good. I like this part the best, like the actual videos to do, because that's like, cool, I can just do this. If like nothing else, I can just do this. So let's switch over to Manus and see what it did. So exact same prompt to begin with. So first of all, like Manus just did it and didn't have any issues. So while ChatGPT had a couple of false starts, Manus didn't. It just worked. So that was nice. It says, I'm going to research this. I'm going to build a plan. Here's my plan. That's great. It had its to-do file, which was analyze these channels, analyze content trends, develop a positioning document, titles for 90 days, so on. So you can see it goes through and it checks out all the channels of the competitors or inspiration people that I wanted it to. That's cool. I like the Manus kind of style better, if I'm honest. Cool. And so then it researched trends. So again, maybe similarly to ChatGPT Agent, it didn't find first-party data from like Google Trends. It found blog posts about trends in AI, which that's fine. Searching for founder coaching in this market. And then it has all these data sources and it has this data trends analysis. So cool. AI education market, 6.9 billion, projected by 2030 to be 41 billion. Cool. So we're in the right place. Coaching industry, 20 billion, expected to grow to by 2030 to 25 billion. So cool. This is really helpful. Like I want to be in this boat, right? I want to be in the bigger boat. And that's a lot of why we're doing this series. And I'm really all in on AI is I know that's where the puck is going, to quote Wayne Gretzky. So AI empowered coaching. Cool. So content gap analysis. This is the first time I'm looking at this. I haven't like pre-planned all this. So I'm kind of grokking all this at the same time. Content saturation levels. Ooh, interesting. General AI tutorials, basic business coaching. If I'm honest, that's a lot of what I've been publishing on this channel up until this 100 Days of AI challenge. Not cool. Medium, AI marketing tools and startup advice. Yeah, I've done a bit of that. And then, I think what it's saying is like, hey, this is where the real opportunity is. So that's interesting. Cool. So it just goes on and on and on. I don't want to read all this to you, but you can just see, I'll include all of these files in a download for you to check out, so you can compare, an export of the ChatGPT agent and the Manus agent result and output. I'll include both these. There'll be a link in the description below. Just drop your email in and I'll send it to you. So then it creates a positioning document. Cool. Really detailed. I think this is, I'm a fanboy, I think, but I think the Manus stuff is just more detailed. So here's the 90-day plan. Scroll all the way up. Strategic, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Cool. Oh, it gives me the type of video to publish on each of those days. That's cool. Okay. And then it comes down here and gives me an executive summary, market trends, highlights. This is cool, right? This is like, this is like an executive summary, pulls out the really important bits of each of the videos or each of the reports that it's giving me. That's cool. Channel positioning strategy, unique value prop targeting non-technical entrepreneurs, target audience. Your position in a $41 billion growing intersection with minimal direct competition serving non-technical entrepreneurs. Cool. AI education for entrepreneurs without technical complexity, serving an underserved but rapidly growing segment. That's why I'm here. This is amazing. Balanced approach with 30% education, 25% business building, 20% coaching, and 15% ethics, and 10% ROI content. Interesting. Growth projection, 2,000 to 5,000 engaged subscribers in the first 90 days. Ooh, so by the end of my 100 days of AI, we'll have 5,000 subscribers. And you can help that if you would like by clicking subscribe so you get more awesome content from this channel every day during our 100 days of AI. And then evidently, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday thereafter. Okay, so we have kind of a doc version of each of these. So executive summary. Cool. Competitor analysis shows kind of what they're doing, why their thumbnails are working, engagement patterns. And then the thing we really asked for is the 90-day plan. So this was just what we were looking at before is marked down, and this is kind of the formatted version. I'm going to scroll down. So these are the playlists. So AI fundamentals, AI implementation roadmap, interesting. tool reviews, AI ethics and responsible business practices. That's super interesting. AI ROI and case study development. Okay, so cool. And then it is giving me the actual stuff that I wanted here. The first time I looked at this, I was like, oh, Manus just didn't give me what I actually asked for, which is the 90-day plan. But here it is, why every entrepreneur needs to understand AI in 2025. Okay, that's kind of soft, but that's cool. 5 AI tools every small business owner should know about, free and paid options. Okay, ethical entrepreneur's guide to AI, building trust while leveraging technology. Deep dive, how to use AI for market research. ChatGPT versus Claude versus Gemini, which assistant's best for you? Interesting. Um, these are all kind of soft, if I'm honest. Like, none of this is like I built a Twitter scheduling app or I built a Reddit reposting agent. Um, so that's interesting. I might take a bit of both. I think that's what we do a lot, right? As AI first entrepreneurs, I think what we do is we'll do exactly what I did here. I'm going to run this in Manus. I'm going to run the ChatGPT agent, and I'm going to pick the best of both of them. To be honest, I like the ideas here because they're a little more concrete, I feel like. I feel like the ones from Manus, just the topic suggestions that it gave me are just a little softer. And I don't really like that. I think I've made soft content in the past and not here, right? In this 100 days of AI, I'm literally just, hey, I ran the same agentic prompt in Manus and in ChatGPT agent, and here's the difference, and that's what I'm showing you. So, who do I like better? In the end, I don't know, is the answer. I like both for different reasons. I have to say, I still am fanboying on Manus a fair bit because it's easy. I think it's really comprehensive. I don't like the actual content that it suggested as much. I like the content that ChatGPT agent gave me, but to be fair, it just couldn't analyze a bunch of websites when it was doing the trend analysis, and it just didn't work the first like 3 times that I tried. So, in the end, who do I like? I like both. I have to believe that ChatGPT will make this work in the end. But maybe what's most interesting out of all of this is if you are following channels like Nate Herc, and you're building a bunch of these things in N8N, you might not need to do that. Nate had a video on his channel where he basically built a really complex N8N automation that just did this, and I can just plop in a prompt and it does it for me. Instead of spending 3 hours building an N8N automation. So, not saying that N8N automations aren't awesome, because they are, and I've really enjoyed building them so far. But I think that as we get kind of ready built agents and agent frameworks, it might take away some of the need for us to build custom agents for things like research. I think custom agents will always have their place when it comes to like, hey, I need to do this very specific thing, maybe with like internal data or something like that. 100% that's where developing custom agents will make sense. And that's what implementation into businesses probably will do. But if you're just like, hey, I need your help kind of like reviewing the landscape and brainstorming some ideas and giving me a plan, I think things like ChatGPT Agent or Manus will be the thing that we go to a lot of times, and we won't need to create custom solutions. So that's kind of my wrap on Manus versus ChatGPT agents. I'd love to hear what you think. I'll include the output of both of these in a link in the description below. Just drop your email in and I'll give them to you. But please tell me what you think. Have you used ChatGPT agents and Manus for similar things? How have you found the difference or the similarities to be? Which do you prefer? We're all learning in this together, so I'd love to hear kind of what's working for you today. If you haven't already, please subscribe, like, ring the bell, and we'll see you tomorrow for day 6 of 100 Days of AI.